Hey, Shalom Alaikum to Vakam Akapashim, Jim Masani, giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bashem Rakach. When they get double honors unto the elders, the apostles of GMS, and Shalom out there to the hopeful late, pushing the truth in all sincerity. Alright, yeah, back again, another video. Not sure what I'm going to entitle this just yet, but the famine of the world is approaching us, man. You know, people getting cancelled and suspended for talking about simple things, things that shouldn't even be, you know, that controversial or, that much of an issue. But, because of Dictator Trump, Emperor Nero, you know, free speech is being, destroyed, right? And he was meant to be an agent of free speech. He's meant to support it. But, it all just seems that, you know, free speech is limited. And then what I've seen in some of these articles or, some of the quotes these guys have been saying is that, hate speech isn't free speech and all this kind of stuff. Free speech is free speech, right? You can be critical and criticize people and that kind of stuff, right? But you can't criticize Trump. You can't criticize, man like Charlie. You can't criticize the position of the government. Trump, he's not having it. He ain't having it, mate. You know what I mean? So he's more and more turning into a dictator. Ruling over the people how he sees fit and controlling the people, right, and punishing people how he sees fit. For whatever every deems as a misdemeanor or whatever. And so this is gonna be applied to other things and other people. Especially guys like us out there in the highways and byways teaching this truth, right? Prophesying, this kingdom's end, pointing out all the evil wickedness that's going on in this place. Because we got the most to say. And we ain't usually, we ain't gonna be talking about guys like Charlie. Okay, we got a lot more to say. Okay, a lot more damning things to say, right? Concerning these leaders, concerning these actors, right? Concerning these kingdoms. Okay, we got far much more things to say, and it's all biblical, But because of that, the Bible is going to be seen as a problem book, right? And soon you're not going to have to speak the words of the Bible out there in the streets, right? And these are things that have really been creeping into other societies. Remember Canada, kind of outlawed, Bible speaking in the streets and stuff like that. They don't want the Bible out there. They want that in a little corner somewhere where it's controlled and managed. Where all you do is sing hymns, and being told by the pastor that Jesus Christ loves everybody. That's what they want. Right? They don't actually want the truth coming out. They don't want it on the streets. They don't want to deal with the the criticism that the Bible kind of shows, concerning these nations, concerning these people, okay, how they're evil and wicked. All right, so they're doing it to guys like Jimmy Kimmel, for talking about one little dude, one little dude that got removed from Earth, just a few days ago. Then, they're kind of taking a hard stance in it, but imagine for everything else, right? They're gonna put in more and more things in place where you can't talk anymore. You can't talk no more. Proper George Orwell. But yeah, the famine of the world is coming. So we want to open up with that. Amos chapter 8, verse 11. It says, "Behold, the days come, saith Lord God Yahweh, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of the Lord." Right? Because it's going to be removed. And you ain't going to be out there on the streets, doing that thing. You ain't going to find it on the internet because it's offensive. Right? So they're going to block that. Okay, they're already blocking it behind age verifications and IDs and all these different kinds of things, right? So you're not gonna have access to this understanding anymore. All right. So the Lord is going to take the word from out of the earth. Okay, so it's only going to be in the hearts of the elect. All right, that's the only place it's going to be, because it's not it's not there for everybody. All right, so a famine of the word is coming, right? And guys like Trump, they're going to put their laws in place, right? That's going to prevent you, from speaking, from listening, from learning. Okay, the truth, right? They're the ministry of truth, right? They're the ministry of truth. I said George Orwell. They are the ministry of truth, man. Right? They don't want to go back and forth with anybody. They don't want to they don't want an opposition. Right? That's why they're talking about getting rid of getting rid of the left. Right? They don't want an opposing opinion on anything anymore. Right? Trump's took that brush out and tarred the whole left as a problem. Right? And like the brothers have been saying, that you Jake, you've made yourself a target. You fall into those categories, on the left, right? And then Esau's got us on the list as well, speaking against the government. So he's gonna paint that wide brush, man. Okay, and you ain't gonna be able to talk no more. If you talk, there's gonna be ramifications, imprisonments or whatever. Right? That's what Trump's looking to do. Right? So yeah, there's gonna be a famine of the word, right? Verse 12, and they shall wander from sea to sea, and from the north even to the west, and they shall run to and fro, and to seek the word of the Lord, and they shall not find it. Right? Because the elect would have been sealed anyway. Right? So the elect are already going to have the truth. And that's all that really matters, man. But you ain't going to be able to find it. You're going to want to know, people out here are going to want to know what's going on. People are going to want answers, man. Because we've been prophesying about these things from way back when. Beginning with our elders and apostles, right? They're gonna want answers, man, and you ain't gonna get it. You ain't gonna see all the videos, because brothers put up endless amount of videos, man. Okay, but you ain't gonna have access to them. You ain't gonna get to see it. You ain't gonna see the brothers on the highways. Let me read this. This is Isaiah chapter 19, verse 4. Let's see. I'm going to read from the top, right? And the burden of Egypt. Behold, the Lord rideth upon a swift cloud, and shall come into Egypt, and the idols of Egypt shall move at his presence, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it. And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight everyone against his brother, and everyone against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. Right? This kingdom is being more and more divided every day. Right? More and more things are happening that's creating more and more division in this world, man. All right, and Trump, going out on the offensive against the left, right? It's just going to create more chaos, more division, right? And it's going to lead to civil war, right? And the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof, and I will destroy the counsel thereof, and they shall seek to the idols and to the charmers, and to them that have familiar spirits, and to the wizards. And the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel lord, right? And Trump is fast becoming that cruel lord, right? He's got no. He's got complete disregard for, the laws and the constitutions that you Americans like to believe you uphold, and all that kind of stuff that you expect them to uphold. These men don't care about none of that, right? That's why he will send National Guard to your cities, to your states and shit, right? To take control and do as he sees fit, right? I said Emperor Nero is becoming just that, right? More of a dictator by the day. Okay, all this democracy shit, man. It was never true, right? We've never really had a democracy. All this has been an illusion. Okay, all this has been an illusion, man. And Trump is just, making it more apparent that it is just an illusion. Okay, you people don't have a say out here, really. Okay, the one in power has all to say, right? You don't get to say nothing. You don't get to speak anything that he don't like. And they're making threats. You better toe the line. So he's fast becoming this cruel lord that's, ruling over these Egyptians right now, right? So yeah, the Egyptians were like given to the hand of a cruel lord, and a fierce king shall rule over them, saith the Lord of hosts. Okay. This is Revelation chapter 13, verse 11. It says, and behold, I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon, right? Okay, so all this democracy shit, this two-party stuff that, these people are here to, serve the people, right? To make America great again. It's all bullshit, right? It's all been a game that you've been playing, voting Democrat and Republicans, revolving fucking door. Nothing changes, right? No one's doing shit. No one's helping doing anything to help you people, man. Right? But now's the time to know where the beast is going to turn, right? And stop behaving ruthlessly, right? Like I said, speak as a dragon, become more draconian, right? I said that's why Trump's in that dictator spirit, man. You know? Um, Let me grab this first. It's Galatians chapter 4, verse 16. It says, am I therefore become your enemy because I tell you the truth? Right? So, again, the spotlight being on us, right? We're out here speaking the truth against his kingdom, right? And soon, at some point, we're not going to be able to be out there, speaking these truths, right? Because we're going to become enemies of the state. And even amongst you people, man, you ain't, you don't enjoy us being out there, right? You're looking for blood too, right? In fact, you're going to be in agreement with guys like Trump to get us off the street, right? So you're going to be part of the reason why we can't be out there. Okay, not just the government, but you people out there too. You don't want us out there because we ain't got nothing good to say about your kingdom. But look at it. Look at your kingdom now. Look at it. You can't say this is something worth saving, right? This is what you want. Okay, you have it, man. We don't want it. We're telling you, man. This place is going down the shitter, man. This place is being destroyed. Okay, and there is no hope for this place. Okay, all we want is the kingdom of heaven to come and replace it. Right, but this place is too wicked. So, we've got nothing good to say to you. Okay, we haven't got any good news for you, other than the fact that once this kingdom is destroyed, you're going to be ruled by the Israelites. That's the only good thing, right? That's the only good thing that's going to come out of this for you, right? The Edomites, there's literally no good news for you, none at all, But yeah, this place is falling apart, all right? But you're going to try and defend it anyway, which is madness. All right. So yeah, we become your enemies because we speak the truth about this place. This is 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 22. Just want to get the point right. It says, many shall follow their pernicious ways, by reason of whom the way of truth shall be evil spoken of, right? So, the things that we speak about, they're going to be looked at as evil in this world. I mean, they already are, right? Everything that we say according to these people is evil. It's full of hate. Right, the same things and same excuses that Trump and these guys are making on the right about the left and everything to do with Charlie. It's all evil, right? Because he stood up for he stood for truth, right? He stood up for righteousness or whatever, right? Like the rest of you so-called right? You all stand for truth and righteousness, right? And you're all liars. All of you are fucking liars, left and right, right? So, your anger is going to be directed towards us because it's we that speak the truth, right? But you're going to label us as evil, right? Because it's not because it's against you and the things that you uphold, This is 2 Ezra chapter 16 and verse 70. For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord, right? Us men the Lord that are out there, right? Because we were going to become enemies of the people, enemies of the state, right? A great insurrection is going to come upon us, right? So they shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord, right? So they're going to come after us. They're going to come and cast some of us into prison. They're going to come and put some of us to death, you know. Little prison. All right, Revelation chapter 2, verse 10 says, Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death. Right, so death is a real possibility. Okay, we are here risking our lives for the truth. Okay, and I mean, brothers have died already in this truth, right? And albeit though we're not in a scenario right now where death is expected necessarily, like right now. The situation, doesn't, how do I want to phrase it? It's not as dangerous as it's gonna be, where death is like, could be a likely thing, right? We know when we go out there, anything could happen. Anything could happen, literally, like anything could happen on that day, right? But it's not necessarily that, every time we go, we know we're gonna get arrested. It's not like that, but it will be. It will be like that. Okay, it will be, likely that, people are trying to put us to death. And so, like I said, in that time, we ain't gonna find ourselves out there. How could we be out there? Trump, these nations, they evoke martial law and these types of things. How are we gonna be out there? But they're gonna do some of these things, right? So again, fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. All right, so, we have to be prepared for these things. All right. But back in 2 Ezra chapter 16, this is verse 72. For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. Then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as gold in the fire. Right? Because this is like one big test, the test of the elect. Right? And this is how we're gonna know if we're chosen or not, if we can endure all these things. Right? It's verse 74. Hear, O ye my beloved, saith the Lord. Behold, the days of trouble are at hand, but I will deliver you from the same. Be ye not afraid, neither doubt, for God is your guide, and the guide of them who keep my commandments and precepts, saith the Lord God Yahweh. Let not your sins weigh you down, and let not your iniquities lift themselves up. Woe be unto them that are bound with their sins and covered with their iniquities, like as a field is covered over with bushes, and the path thereof covered with thorns, that no man may travel through. It is left undressed and is cast into the fire to be consumed thereof. All right. But the Lord, is watching over his elect. So when this time comes, whatever the outcome is, whatever our lot is, okay, the Lord is gonna, protect his elect. All right. But yeah, we're gonna come into those times. But I'm gonna close out with this from Matthew chapter 5, verse 10. It says, Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Right, that's the reward, for enduring persecution. So blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you, and shall say all manner of evil against you falsely for my sake. Right, so we're gonna have not only are people gonna speak against us and the word that we have, just like they did to with Yahweh Shai, they're gonna slander us just like they did Yahweh Shai, bear false witness just like against Yahweh Shai. But they're gonna do all these different things, man, because they hate us, right? Because they hate the truth, all right? And so they're gonna speak evil against us, all right? But this is the lot of the prophet, the lot of the men of the Lord, right? For this to happen, right? So it's not an indication that these men are wicked, or that we're wicked. It's just simply the way that the way that things are supposed to work, right? People are going to hate us because we have the truth, right? And we're going to be persecuted because of that. Okay, again, just like Yahushai. Okay, we're going to follow the the same and similar footsteps of Yahushai. So again, blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you, and shall say all manner of evil against you falsely for my sake. Rejoice and be exceeding glad, for great is your reward in heaven. For so persecuted they the prophets which were before you. Right? It shows you the prophets were hated. The men of the Lord were hated. Right? And Volga will tell you, man, we're the most, or the worst group on the planet. Right? So if that's not hate, if we're not the most hated, But yeah, that's how people are gonna, react to us and portray us, So yeah, that's pretty much it for the video. All right, so Dictator Trump, keep doing your thing. We want to get to the end, so keep doing your thing, man. We're not worried. Just do your thing, innit? But yeah, these things we have to prepare for mentally and spiritually. So I'm gonna end it there. Lord, when it's been edifying, I'll catch you brothers and sisters on the next video. Until next time, I say shalom.